Hello everyone, I'm Heather. In today's video, I'm going to talk to you about 5 things that I have seen a lot of people doing wrong when they're at Walt Disney World that's making their Walt Disney World trip worse. Thank you for joining me for today's video. If you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, I would encourage you to subscribe. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you know that I'm a huge Disney fan. We do take a lot of trips to Disney destinations, Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line. Hopefully, eventually we'll be going to the Disney International Parks, Paris, Tokyo, things like that. If you're a Disney fan like I am, or if you have a trip to Disney World or a Disney cruise planned, please make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss it. This is going to be the last Disney related video for a little while, concluding kind of things from our trip that we took in August of 2024. If you find this video helpful or you like this content at all, I ask that you please give me a like down below. Liking and commenting really helps my channel to grow and lets YouTube know that they should show this video to more people. And I really do strive to give my viewers very helpful, practical tips that you can use when you're traveling. These are some things that I've observed for a while, for multiple trips that we've taken to the Disney parks. But it really stuck out to me on this last trip, and I had Megan keeping track for me in her little notes app in her phone. And I said that I'm going to make a video about that when we get home to help people out, because these are some really basic things that I see people doing wrong that it's like, gosh, if you just knew that, it makes everything so much better. Okay, so number 1, seating in quick service restaurants. Okay, many of the restaurants in Walt Disney World, quick service restaurants or counter service restaurants, where you go up to the counter and you order your food and then you take it on a tray and you go sit down, or you mobile order on the app, which I would encourage you to do that, by the way, along with this. Mobile ordering on the app, and then, you go pick up your food on a tray and you go sit down. I do want to warn you though that when you mobile order, not everything on the menu at the restaurant is in the app on the mobile order. The mobile order sometimes is a little bit limited, so just keep that in mind. If there's something specific, you're like, I think they have this here, but I don't see it on the mobile order, then you're probably going to want to go up to the counter. But it can definitely save you time and hassle and having to wait in line by mobile ordering. So just keep that in mind. Okay, but what I want to talk about for quick service restaurants is seating, and specifically the fact that people at quick service restaurants have this tendency at Walt Disney World to walk into the place and sit down at the first table that they see open. Okay, they sit down right close to the door, or they sit down at the tables that are closest to the counter where you order and pick up your food. And they think that's it. They think that what they see right there is all that there is. And they don't take a few extra minutes to walk around and realize that this restaurant is actually deceptively huge. All right, 2 places specifically in Magic Kingdom, and they're actually quite close to each other, that I see this happen all the time are Pinocchio Village House, which is right on a main thoroughfare, and so a lot of people go in there. It also overlooks, it has one room that overlooks It's a Small World, the ride. There's windows that overlook the ride. When you get on It's a Small World and you're going in the boat, you'll see people sitting up there, and they'll sometimes wave at you. We even had somebody hold up a sign, a little kid held up a sign for us to clap on the last trip, and everybody clapped in the boat. It's a very popular and very busy restaurant in Magic Kingdom and Fantasyland. And everybody comes in and sits just right in that first section and doesn't realize there's so much more to the restaurant. Keep walking. Walk farther. Look here at this clip that I'm putting in right here. This is us eating in practically an empty room at Pinocchio Village House. Now, granted, we were also at a party, so the crowd was a little less than it would be during the day, but there were so many people packed over into the first room that you come into, and nobody had even come over here to see that this room was there. And that happens a lot at Walt Disney World restaurants, where people just take the first table they see or take the first seat in the first area, and they think, oh, well, thank God we got a table, and they're not realizing that there might be whole rooms, or in my second example, whole floors of seating that they're missing. So the other example also from Magic Kingdom is Columbia Harbor House. It's down near Haunted Mansion. It's a really good place to eat. It's a really good quick service restaurant. They have seafood and mac and cheese and all sorts of yummy food. And everybody sits downstairs in the little tiny downstairs that hardly has any tables. Everybody thinks that's all there is. And they're all crowded down there, and it's always packed with people because it's right next to the counters where you order and where you pick up your food. Go upstairs. The upstairs, well, actually, I don't even really want to tell you this because I love going upstairs because we're usually the only people up there. It'll be us and like 2 other families. That'll be it. And there'll be just dozens of tables empty. And it's always really quiet and really nice up there. And there's really pretty views of Rivers of America. Not sure what the views will be after they change all that soon. But anyway, there's so much more seating upstairs. And almost every quick service restaurant at Walt Disney World is like this. If it's an inside quick service restaurant, there is going to be much more seating than you can see when you first walk in. Another example is at Animal Kingdom, Satuli Canteen. There's these big, high, kind of curved walls. And because they're there, you don't realize that those are actually dividing up a very large dining room. And you've got to walk around the other side of the wall, and then you'll come to a whole nother area with a whole bunch more tables. There's multiple places in Satuli Canteen that are like that. So a lot of people eat outside, even when it's super, super hot, because they think there's no tables inside. Because the first area you walk into when you come into the restaurant and go to order or pick up your food is already full of people. And they don't realize if I just went a little farther and I walk around these walls, oh, here's a whole bunch more tables. Oh, here's a whole bunch more tables, so you really got to take a little extra walking in these restaurants and look around a little more because there might be or probably is a lot more seating available, nice empty tables that have been cleaned and everything that you don't even realize were there. So that's the first mistake I see people making all the time at Walt Disney World is they don't realize how big the quick service restaurant dining rooms are and how much more there is that they could be taking advantage of and getting a nice clean table without people all crowded around them, and they're missing it. Very similar one. Second way that people are doing the things wrong at Walt Disney World, the bathrooms. The public bathrooms at Walt Disney World, not all of them, but most of them, are twice as big as you think they are. Now, I can't speak for the men's because I'm not going in the men's, but I'm assuming maybe they're like this. I don't know. But almost every woman's bathroom, public bathroom at Walt Disney World, you come in and there'll be sinks and there'll be the row of stalls. But there's a whole nother row of stalls, okay? Either you'll come in and it'll be like straight in front of you. There'll be like sinks and then there's stalls. But if you go over here, there's a whole nother row of stalls. And it's tons and tons of stalls. One that's like that is Norway. In the Norway Pavilion, that's what the bathroom is like. There's a whole nother, go to the left. There's a whole nother row of stalls. And then the other bathrooms that I can think of, and one place I know is like this is by Guest Relations in Magic Kingdom. You come in and the sinks are along this wall and you come to this first row of stalls going this way. Go past that. There's a whole nother row of stalls all the way to the back. And people miss that second row of stalls in the bathrooms all the time. Megan and I always walk all the way to the back and go to the second and sometimes even third row of stalls because people miss them and don't even realize that they're there. And they're always the nicest and cleanest and quietest area because nobody's back there because nobody even realizes that there's a whole second row of stalls that you didn't see that was farther back. So make sure you're not missing those because there's way more toilets and stalls in the bathrooms than you think there are. Third thing, very similar, kind of going back to the quick service restaurants. And this would just be at quick service restaurants, not table service, where at table service, they're taking your check and your payment at your table. But at quick service restaurants, including the food courts in your resort hotel, you can pay at both sides of the counter. there's a person sitting there and everybody tends to go to the one side, to the right, basically, when you're facing them. They think you can only pay on that side and there'll be this big line. And people might think I'm rude, but I'm really not. I walk right up and go right up to the person on the other side. Because what they actually do is they alternate. Left, right, left, right. They take the person here, the person there, the person here, the person there. So if everybody's waiting in a line on this one side, but nobody walks up on the other side, well, then they just take the people as they come. But if I can walk right up there on the other side of them and with my tray, and they'll take me next. So make sure you know that you can pay on both sides of the register at quick service restaurants. There are some places too where you can also order, because it's also paying on both sides. Columbia Harbor House is another one like that. You can order and pay on both sides of that register. There's 2 lines there. There's supposed to be 2. They alternate people left, right, left, right. So make sure you're going on both sides. Go to the left, because nobody's probably standing there. And there's probably a big long queue over here on the right. Go to the other side of the register. Number 4, the app. One of the complaints that a lot of people made about Disney Genie Plus that they changed, they didn't really change anything, okay, was I don't like that I'm on my phone the whole time I'm in the parks. And so they're like, okay, we'll make it so you're not on your phone so much. I don't really see that they changed anything, honestly. They just told you they did. I don't know what people are doing who say that. People are like, oh, I'm spending my whole time on my phone in the parks. What are you doing? Are you not doing the Disney app? Because I can't figure out what you could be doing in the Disney app that would be taking you that long, that you're spending your whole time in the parks with your face in your phone. I have to feel like people are scrolling Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or something, because there's no way that anything they're doing on the Disney app should be taking them long at all. I do stuff on the Disney app throughout the day when we're in the parks, and it takes me 15 seconds. And when we tap into a ride, because we always get Lightning Lane, I immediately go on the app while we're still walking through the queue and pick up the next Lightning Lane. Takes me 10 seconds, done, and I move on. That's all I'm doing. I'm not doing anything else. I mean, maybe I might be quick switching around the time for something. You can modify a time coming up or whatever, but there should be nothing that you're doing in the Disney app, in the My Disney Experience app on your phone, that should take more than 30 to 60 seconds, honestly. And I mean, I'll maybe do that 3-4 times a day, and that's it. I'm probably spending less than 5 minutes on my phone doing anything in the My Disney Experience app. So I don't know what people are doing in the My Disney Experience app. Yeah, your digital photos will be on there and stuff. Don't look at those when you're in the park. Wait till you get back to the hotel at night and then look at them. Maybe they're not using the app efficiently. And my solution to that would be, that probably is a big thing, because they have made that app so user-friendly and so quick to do things. And it walks you through the steps for stuff so simply. I mean, I don't know how people can be getting confused. I really don't. The one way that I can see that might be causing a problem is if you don't familiarize yourself with the app before you get to the parks. So I would really encourage you to download the My Disney Experience app while you're still at home. Put the app on your phone and look around at it a little bit while you're still at home before your trip, and then you'll be familiar with where stuff is. The one thing I think a lot of people are missing is it's the tip board. It's the My Day or the tip board. It's called one of those two things. That's where you really need to be to see like wait times and to see like what's next on your schedule and stuff like that. There really isn't anything else that you really have to be doing. I mean, unless you're mobile ordering food, which that could take a minute, that could take a couple minutes if you're sitting there mobile ordering food. But at that point, if you're mobile ordering food, you shouldn't be like walking through the park. I mean, you should stop somewhere or be at the restaurant already or something, and stopping and mobile ordering your food. And that could take a couple minutes. But again, I don't know what people are doing. So Put that app on your phone before you get to the Disney parks and look around in it and explore it a little bit so you know where stuff is. And then recognize that you don't need to be spending very long on that app at all. I'm really not spending hardly any time on the app when I'm in the parks at all. I mean, literally picking up my next lightning lane and maybe mobile ordering food. And maybe if we're not quite sure where the closest bathroom is, we'll look at the map real quick or something. But that's it. It shouldn't be consuming all your time to use the My Disney Experience apps in the park. It's not designed to be a time suck. Either you're not familiarizing yourself with it, so you're confused and you're looking around for stuff. I hate to tell you, but oh my gosh, is it hard to look at your phone in the parks when it's sunny and bright in the summertime, or pretty much any time in Florida it's sunny and bright, and you gotta have your brightness way up and that's going to be killing your battery. Try not to do that. And I would also discourage people from using their phones as a form of entertainment when you're in the parks, and especially in line. Teach your kids and get used to yourself using time waiting in line to talk to each other. Talk to each other, have conversations. Sometimes you can even have, chatty conversations with people ahead of or behind you in line. We've done that a lot. There's no reason that everybody should be spending the entire time they're in line on their phones in the parks or whatever. And sometimes the queues in the lines are really neat and they have all these interactive elements and stuff. And you're missing all that if you're in your phone all day. You're killing your battery. You're not getting the best use out of your experience at Walt Disney World. You're missing cool things that the Imagineers have put into the queues. Saying that the My Disney Experience app is forcing you to keep your face in your phone the whole time you're at parks is not true. If your face is in your phone, you either didn't learn how to use the My Disney Experience app before you went, you didn't familiarize yourself with it, or you're doing other things on your phone that are not the My Disney Experience app, and that's on you. Don't lose out on all of the cool details and time spent with your family when you're in the parks because you're doing stuff on your phone, and I saw so many people doing it. So many people watching YouTube and looking at TikTok and, whatever on their phones while they're at the parks. You paid so much money to do that. Put your phone away. Put it away. You don't need to have it out. You really don't. Last one, number 5, is being inefficient when you're moving about the parks. And what I mean by this is people do not plan their time efficiently. Now, the number one thing about this is you gotta look at a map ahead of time. If you don't know Disney World inside and out like we do, we don't even need maps anymore. We just know where everything is. If you don't know the parks well enough like that, get a paper map. A paper map is actually great. You can get a paper map, usually at the front of the park. If they don't have them out because they are trying to, be a little bit more conscious about using paper resources and stuff, you can always go to guest services and ask for a paper map and they will give you one. Those can be a lot easier to look at with your eyes in the parks because the sun actually helps you to see the map. When you're trying to look at the map on your phone, you get that whole thing with the screen brightness and the sun and stuff. A paper map is actually better and you can keep it in your pocket. Study the map at home ahead of time if you can, and kind of familiarize yourself with the different lands and the different areas of the park, or even the night before in your hotel. Okay, what's our first thing that we're going to do tomorrow when we're at this park? Where is it and how do we get there? Make a plan just like you would in a city. If you're traveling in a city, like I've made in this video, you need to have a plan the night before. We're going to this. How long is it going to take us to get there? How far is it? All of that. So you have some sort of an idea. Especially if you have a lightning lane booked, you don't want to be late for that lightning lane. Or if you have a dining reservation. I don't understand people who are late for their dining reservations. To me, the only reason that you could be late is because you underestimated how far away that was and how long it was going to take you to get there. That's probably what's happening. So you need to familiarize yourself with that. And you also need to recognize how big these parks are. Walt Disney World as a whole is the size of the city of San Francisco. It's huge. The parks are very big. There can be a lot of people, which hinders your movement from one place to the next. You need to recognize that and allow a lot of time. But the other thing that I see people doing a lot, which I definitely do not do, is they zigzag. They go to something over here, and then the next thing they go to is way over here, and then they're like, oh, let's go see this. And they end up spending way more time walking around than necessary. Now, we did walk a lot in the parks. I talked about this in our travel day video, and I'm going to insert some footage here. Here's how much we walked on our travel day going through the airports. Okay, and like getting there and then getting to Pop Century, walking over to Art of Animation to eat, coming back, etc. Okay, this is a travel day. And then these next 4 are the 4 days of walking around the parks. This is us walking around at Hollywood Studios, full day at Hollywood Studios, including walking to the Skyliner in the morning and walking back to our hotel room at night. The second one is Epcot. Now, Epcot does involve the most walking. It's the biggest park as far as walking is concerned. But we did Epcot in a very logical order. We did everything at the front of the park first, what used to be Future World part, the side with Spaceship Earth on it. And we did everything around World Showcase in the afternoon and evening, basically. We still did a lot of walking at Epcot, but we did it in an efficient manner. Here's how much we walked around on the day that we went to Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party. We also walked around Caribbean Beach Resort a little bit that day, so that's how many steps we took that day. And then this last one, this is how much we walked around Animal Kingdom. If you're getting double this number of steps or something, I mean, this is already a lot of steps. We're walking miles every day. But if you're getting way more than that, you're doing something wrong. So my kids are always very impressed with me because I'm a master of getting the full benefit of previously Fast Pass, and then after that Genie Plus I had mastered, and then I mastered this new Lightning Lane system, which it's really still Genie Plus. It's the same thing. It just works. There's just a couple little tweaks they made to it, okay? I still was able to get on every ride we wanted to go on every day that we were there. We didn't wait in any lines. Yes, I'm willing to spend the money, but like I've talked about before, time is money for me. And also I can't stand in a queue because of my bad ankle and my problem with my disc in my spine. So for me, it's worth it to spend the money on Lightning Lane. But not only do I get on everything and not waiting any lines, I get on them in geographical order. Okay, and that's the thing that really blows my kids away when we're at the parks. I've gotten so good at knowing where everything is. I'm able to maximize my time in the parks by doing the parks in geographical order. Like I will knock off attractions in the order that you walk past them. So we're never like jumping around or zigzagging from one side of the park to the other and going back and backtracking or anything like that. Because I'm like, okay, we're going to cover all this, this stuff here, and then we're going to go over to this part of the park and we cover all this stuff here, and we do it in a logical, sensible order. And that's really what you need to do, because if you don't do that, you're making yourselves so tired and you're wasting so much time. And again, you paid $180 or something for this ticket for one person to be in this park that day. Don't waste your money by wasting your time. Do the parks in a logical order if you can. People will see, oh, this ride, they don't have Lightning Lane. And so they're like, this ride here is only a 5-minute wait. Let's go ride that right now. But it takes them 15 minutes to walk to it. And by the time they get over there, the wait time has gone up to 20 minutes. Okay, that's not an efficient way to do things. Yeah, maybe this ride that you're standing right by right now is a 20-minute wait, but it's probably more efficient for you to just get in that queue because you're right next to it than it is to cross the entire park to go to something that's a 15-minute wait instead. So be efficient with your walking around the park and the way you get around the park. Be efficient with your time. This is something that I see people doing wrong at Walt Disney World all the time. And it's going to make your trip worse. You're going to be tired. You're going to be worn out. You're going to be exhausted. You're going to be frustrated. You're going to spend a lot more time waiting in lines than you need to if you're not following these tips, okay? And that includes lines to get food and lines for the bathroom. So don't waste your time standing in line. Follow these 5 tips that I just gave you, and you should have a much better time when you're at Walt Disney World. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I really do hope it was helpful to you. Have a great day, everyone, and safe travels.